Hey guys, this is DFD, aka Dark Frozen Deaths, back with another Kamihime Project video. This one I'm going to do something a little bit different because there's some updates in game that I definitely want to sit and go over off of this page. But a few things before I start. First off, there's a whole bunch of JP updates that's happened too. If I do a future look video on that one, then or a sneak peek or something like that, then it's going to be a lot of stuff to go over. Like free to play has it so good now. But another little sad thing too, anybody that's playing Mistrain, do the April Fool's event right now. You only have 1 day to do it. It gives you 1,000 jewels in there for just voting once. But the main thing about it is the fact that it has a 5 times stat growth increase, and on top of that, any difficulty has the same HP cap of 4,500. It is a very good way to have all your characters be that much HP or more if you've already grown some. So get on that. You can even have it auto running in the background like I'm doing right now. That's why my computer is whirring like a madman and the fan is on and you hear that. But something to know for anybody that plays Mistrain. Now, as for the updates on the global stat of Kamihime Project, there is a few changes. Like first off, the gacha button now indicates if there's any new gachas, something to know about. And I would say that if you are going to spend money on the game, definitely get this miracle ticket. It lets you get limited Kamihime up to a certain point, and then on top of that too, I haven't seen the add-ons, so we're going to check that out. But the limited Kamihime, my suggestion, you go get I think it was Nyarlathotep, how you pronounce her name, or you get somebody like Fire Shamos. Fire Shamos is going to be really good for one of the Malay rays. Yeah, there's a Nyarl right here, Nyarlathotep. There's quite a few. I heard Dark New was pretty good too. There's quite a few characters that you can get from it. So if you're spending money, do that. Idoans, there isn't too many I would say you should try to get, but maybe the if you're trying to get an Idoan, maybe get like Bayako since she's here. It's funny they don't have North or South Star on there. It's weird, but maybe one of these 100% Idoans if you need them to, because they do Final Break. So there's that. But other than that, there isn't too much you can really do with this miracle ticket that you couldn't normally do. So it's definitely something to get if you want to get that. Also, there's been a few changes when it comes to things. This is the most important one. S-Class souls are now easier to get. The required materials for the first 4 steps have been reduced. You now need 50 less regalia of each element, 100 less fangs of each element, I mean, no, 75 less fangs of each element, 100 less prison cores of each element. That's what I meant to say. You need less books, you need less of the crystal items, you need less story mats. I would say it's gotten roughly 40 to maybe 30% easier to get these souls now. So keep that in mind. You still need 5 of the books from Och Raid. But there's another change too where I think it's listed here too. There's another change too that helps. You can do Ragnarok quests however many times you want, whenever you want. Doesn't matter. Now, then on top of that, there is like ultimate raids don't even need a material to go in. Just spend AP. There you go. Och raids drop more pages. It is, if you're lucky, you can get double the pages. Somebody has already claimed that they've gotten 20 pages in one raid for hosting MVP and stuff like that. So you can get a lot of pages now. It is much easier to get them books. On top of that, the Ragnarok Plus raids. which happen to be the Titans and the Guardian Plus. Increased drop rate for the Guardian Plus materials. Then on top of that too is the fact that when it comes to the number of participants, they cut it down. I'm not exactly sure why. That's something I don't remember happening, but maybe that's to deal with the raid issues or something a little bit. I don't know. But to counterbalance it, there's been some changes in the enemies. Like, they now take more damage naturally because their defense has been lowered. On top of that, you can now put debuffs on them regardless of if it's attack down, defense down, or elemental. So anything that's reducing your defenses or damage output, you can pretty much land on them. So how that works is the Guardian Plus raids allow half effect for attack down and defense down, and the Titan raids allow elemental at half effect. And this even includes Atlas for the Titan raids. So there you go. On top of that too, yeah, and here's the thing for the Titan raids. But on top of that too, you can trade more stuff in the shop that's been updated, so double check that. Rank 250 is maximum now. There's even rewards for that. You can get rewards for doing different battlefield stuff too, so keep that in mind. The biggest thing about this is the fact that it's much easier to grind for a lot of stuff. So there you go, you get that. That's something to really look forward to. And it's a quality of life thing, everybody got it. Now, if moving on to the event itself, and I've already had this page saved. First off, there is no Eidolon, so don't worry about that. There is a free character you can get from the event. You just need to trade the materials for her. You might as well do it. She's free. It'll up your roster a bit more. Might be okay for Tower. Who knows? We'll go over her in the we'll go over her at the end of the video. But the main thing is just to get the free character. Weapons if you need them, because there's honestly some use for both weapons. But it's mainly just a chance to restock weapon on stuff like magic jewels and gacha tickets and so on. So do that. But when it comes to the fight itself, it's actually a little bit interesting how they did this. First off, there's no heroic, of course, but there is a Ragnarok Plus, so that's why I'm going over it. But generally, the fight itself, the boss does the same thing, where at the start of the fight they will reduce your burst gauge to one character. And then on top of that too, they have 7 orbs before they use their burst. And then it drops to 2 in the middle of the fight. So that's something to know. But when it does drop the 2, it's going to AoE nuke you to reduce your burst gauge again. So that's something to know. And it will try to attack people depending on its orb count as well, once the maximum is dropped to 2. So just pay attention to that, you'll be good to go. But the main thing is that the fact that the normal burst, it's just blind for 4 turns to one character, so that's nothing too serious you really have to worry about. You do have to worry about the raging one, because that's going to be 7 random hits, and when it comes to random hits, you'll even see that with the malicious raids pretty soon. But when it comes to the random hits, you can start taking a lot of damage, and if it just wants to hit one character. That can be kind of dangerous, so you may want to prepare some damage cut for that, depending on how strong you are. So there you go. As for the Ragnarok Plus stage, the first enemy can put attack up on itself and stack it whenever its orb count is 0. So keep that in mind. Can put Dizzy on you for the second stage, and it's always activated whenever it does normal attacks. It can also do Dizzy when it bursts, so it's really, really heavy on the Dizzy. So you can get turn interruption off of that that second stage, especially since it only has one orb. Third stage cancels all your buffs whenever its HP hits below half. So if you don't want to lose your buffs, kill it as quickly as possible. Also does that random damage stuff while buffing its attack power. So yeah, be careful with the random damage. Again, if it wants to power on one character, you can see them lose a lot of their HP. Maybe all of it, depending on how strong your grid is. So always be careful with that. It also says it retains the damage up at the start of the fight, so it might actually try to kill you outright. So Ragnarok Plus, definitely pay attention to that one if you already struggle with it. If you don't, then you'll probably just blaze through it like I do. But all the enemies are dark based, so light's gonna have the advantage for this. Another case of why I blaze through it. I'm a light main. But last thing I really need to just go over is the weapons. It is large defender and medium assault for the weapon that can final break. Now, I don't know if this is the start of the weapons always doing that or not, but it's something to pay attention to because this does make the weapon skills better than the ultimate catastrophe raids. Because that one did large defender, but it only did small assault and didn't do medium. So that said, you may actually want some of these event weapons now. They should start giving a large plus medium, because of course power creep and all that. Then on top of that too, if you put it on a sword, it can blind something when they burst. Might be useful. You never know. Same case with the arcane weapon too. When a soul bursts with that, it will recover their own HP. So I guess that can work for you too. But the main reason why I'm suggesting this weapon might actually have some use is because of the fact that this is one of the few times there's a exceed weapon, and it still gets a large assault with it. It doesn't final break. If it did, it would just be like the Union event weapon. But if you need exceed, and it might be a long time away for your Dark Union event, then you might want to hold on to this weapon for the time being. There isn't too many exceed weapons for Dark. So that said, both weapons can help you out with that. Both SSR weapons. Depends on your grid. Go over what you have. The SR weapon is a crap one though. It's just medium pride. That's it. You don't even have to do the special missions for this stuff too, because there are special missions that will give you more of that medium pride weapon. So don't worry about that one. But basically, just go through daily 5 times. You'll get extra trait mats. That's your main focus. 5 runs every day. Now, as for the character, I'm going to go over what she does. And in her case, she can put Indomitable on herself with counterattack. This makes her hard to kill. Well, harder to kill, I should say. And she even has a little bit of a counterattack mechanic where she'll deal damage to all enemies, and then put a specific buff where she will sip and do that same nuke again if she's smacked. This means she can get like essentially a 4 times cast on that. That's not bad if you ask me. And then if you eat 10% of everybody's HP, all allies will get a pretty sizable attack buff, so there's that. If she has the Indomitable thing, it also increases her chances of being targeted, so that helps with her whole counter thing. Especially since her counterattack buff ups her attack power as her HP drops. As an SR, she actually can have some uses, so you never know. She might help you out in tower, I can see that happening. But, she's free, so you might as well go get her. Like, basically just go get her. She's free. Now, the one thing though, is the other SSR characters. They're not that great, in my opinion. you can be the judge of that, given her kits. It's like they still have some use, but compared to what we already have, they're outclassed already. But they are collaboration characters, so you will probably not see them again the minute they disappear. So, up to you if you want to pull for them or not. But me personally, I would probably skip them and just save your magic jewels. Like this one, she's mainly just an ability nuker, and this is like just more Kamihime that have that little mechanic where they can sip and do like extra ability damage at the end of a turn. There's starting to become a whole bunch more of them at this point. But essentially, she can just pretty much ability nuke. She may have some use, but I would skip her. I really would. Now, as for the water one, I don't know why that happened. But as for the water one, this one's a little bit different. She gives barrier plus vigor to everybody. Then on top of that, it says damage down 50% for enemies. Now, what that damage down is, it's a unique type of thing where it reduces all the damage they deal outside of like attack down. So she has more use than the light one. You don't necessarily need her, but she can be pretty helpful. She's more helpful than the light one if you ask me. So if you are going to pull on this, you want this one. If you are going to pull on this banner, you want this one. The light one, basically just ability damage. This one has a lot more utility than the light one. I still wouldn't call her top tier, but still. And the thing with the Ice Wall too is the fact that it works like for Brewis as well. So if you have for Brewis, then you're already clashing a little bit. Maybe not, since it's under a different name. But it gives you barrier and regen at the same time. If the barrier dies, the regen dies. So keep that in mind. But it is 5 turns with a 6-turn cooldown. It can stay up for most of the fight. So that's something to know. And then the damage down is a different case than attack down. So she could have some use in like a fire malicious or something like that. So you never know. Plus with her assist, whenever the ice wall's active, attack and defense goes up. I don't know if it's AoE. I don't know if it's AoE. But it is double effect whenever she bursts, so there you go. Like I said, she's not bad, but I still don't see her as a must-have. Fabruous already does most of what she does. But in the case of the other one, that light version, Light Shiva is better at what she does. That's what I said, they're kind of outclassed already. I mean, this one still has some perks of her own to keep her up. I mean, having another vigor buffer doesn't really hurt. But I don't see a need to pull for these two. So if you want, go for it. Water one's definitely the better one out of the two. But you don't really need to worry about it too much. But anyways, that's all for this event. I mean, for this video. And as far as it goes with this event, it's just basically a restock event for the most part. So there you go. But I still would do it anyways for the free character, the free jewels, the free tickets, and all that type of stuff. But anyway, that's all for this video. More will come soon. And for those wondering, there is supposed to be like a roulette type thing for gacha for like free pools and all that type of stuff. I have no idea when that's going to show up though. They said early April. I don't know when. So it could be next event, it could be the event after, I don't know. that still would count as early April if it's within the first 2 weeks, so you never know. But anyways, I would still just hopefully keep your fingers crossed on that, because if they don't do it, it's probably going to be one serious backlash. The Japanese side gave a lot of free pulls for that type of stuff. It's going to be one serious backlash if they don't do the roulette. The Japanese side is already on their 3rd roulette. Their 3rd. We haven't even gotten our 1st yet. So anyways, that's all for this. More of this will come soon, and take care.